Thank you for tuning in. This is week number 9 of SportsGrindDaily.com's college football preview. And as always, we'll be breaking down, giving you brief previews of all of Saturday's must-see games. The first big matchup on Saturday's slate will take us to Norman, Oklahoma, where the number 11 ranked Sooners will host the number 14 ranked Kansas State Wildcats. Kansas State enters the game 4-1 with a 2-0 overall record in the Big 12 play. While OU sits at 5-1 and 2-1 in conference play. Kansas State will be heading into this game off of a bye week, and Oklahoma knocked off its arch rival Texas in its last outing 31-26. Coach Bob Stoops will have to be hoping to see improved play in the team's pass defense as they enter this game ranked 122nd in the country in defending the pass this year. Coach Bill Snyder and his Kansas State Wildcat team will hope to find the similar type success it had in its last trip to Norman, Oklahoma, as they knocked off the Sooners 24-19 back in 2012. The game kicks off at 12 o'clock and will be on ESPN. Not surprising, another one of the biggest matchups of the week will take place down in the SEC West. College football fans have come to expect a pivotal matchup nearly every week out of that side of that conference. The number 21 Texas A&M Aggies are 5-2 overall and 2-2 in SEC play. This week they'll make the trip down to Tuscaloosa to face the Alabama Crimson Tide. Alabama's 5-1 with a 2-1 record thus far in SEC play. Last week Texas A&M was defeated at home against Ole Miss. They lost the game 35-20. It wasn't very competitive really from the onset. Alabama, on the other hand, managed to squeak out a close-fought victory against the Arkansas Razorbacks, a team who felt like they did everything right last week except for come away with a W on the scoreboard. It has not been quite the smooth sailing Alabama fans have come to get accustomed to lately, as the Tide have actually dropped 3 of their last 8 football games, and as I said, a couple plays away last week in Arkansas to dropping 4 of their last 8 games. So they'll want to come out with a tough effort against a conference opponent. Ever since Texas A&M made its way into the SEC, this matchup has been highly entertaining. That all was kicked off a couple years ago when when freshman Johnny Manziel took his Texas A&M Aggies down to Tuscaloosa and Bryant-Denny Stadium and actually shocked the Tide and the college football world, officially throwing himself onto the map as they knocked off Nick Saban's squad that year. Surprisingly enough, the road team has actually taken each of the previous 2 matchups since A&M came over to the conference. Texas A&M's offense this year is averaging 564 yards a game. That's good enough for top 5 in the country. Bama, as always, will be boasting a pretty strong defense. That game will kick off at 3:30 and will be on CBS. The marquee matchup of the week this week has got to be the tilt scheduled down in Tallahassee between the number 5 overall Notre Dame Fighting Irish. They'll make the trip down to Tallahassee to visit the number 2 ranked Florida State Seminoles. Both teams are 6-0 in the year. Last week, Florida State knocked off Syracuse 38-20 up in Syracuse, New York, and Notre Dame took care of business in a thrilling game against North Carolina 50-43. Their offense was able to bail them out of a pretty shoddy defensive performance by the Irish. Notre Dame will be looking to snap its streak of dreadful luck against top 5 teams. Notre Dame actually has 0 wins in the last 16 years against top 5 ranked opponents. The matchup everyone will have an eye on this weekend will definitely be the quarterback battle in this one. Jameis Winston and Everett Golson are both undefeated in the regular season as starting quarterbacks. Both athletic guys, both can hurt you with their legs, and they should combine to put on quite a show down there underneath the lights in Tallahassee. That game kicks off at 8 p.m. on ABC. The only game out of the Pac-12 this week that will feature 2 ranked teams is the contest in Tempe, Arizona between Arizona State, who is 4-1 and 2-1 in the Pac-12. They'll be taking on the Stanford Cardinal, who are 4-2 and 2-1 overall in the conference. Arizona State's last outing, one of the best finishes we'll see all year, as they threw a last-second Hail Mary to beat the USC Trojans. With both teams entering the game with already a loss in the conference, neither can afford another, with the loser of this matchup likely being out of contention for a conference title. Arizona State has lost the last 4 against the Cardinal, but it should be tough sledding for the Stanford offense as they're expected to be without a starter at tight end and a starting wide receiver. Stanford, however, of course, boasts one of the most salty defenses in the country. They are holding opponents to 10 points a game, which is the best mark in the nation. as well as second in yards per game at 238. This game kicks off at 10:30 p.m. Eastern Time, and you can find it on ESPN. Be sure to check back in on Sunday as our NFL preview will be up for sportsgrinddaily.com. And make sure you catch us next week as we'll be breaking down big matchups in college and pro. Be sure to check out the various forms of sports media, trending topic, and all the latest news. As always, at sportsgrinddaily.com.